Fuck is Happening, Episode 7, recorded on the 23rd of August, 2017. Hello, and welcome to What the Fuck is Happening, the best model world podcast that there is. Possibly the only one. I'm Jack.
And I'm Nick.
And, yeah, we got a lot going on this week. How are you, Nick?
Oh, well, I'm great. A bit of relax here and there. I'll be grand.
Yeah, so, what have we got going on this week? Quite a lot, actually. There was,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, so the Model House of Commons in the UK, we've got a general election being called.
We have the Dutch. I'm not sure they exist, but apparently they do. And they formed a government.
Yes.
Oh, God. We scared. They're evolving.
Yep. They have a new government, and we've got the Dutch Prime Minister on to talk to us about this. We also have the new state elections last week, which were pretty cool.
Well, with the fascists, right?
Yeah, in the US.
Oh,
So the Silver Legion being the big news of that, including the president's defection to the Silver Legion, and yeah, it was a big mess. So we're gonna start with our little unhook section. So let's start by bringing in our guests. Let's say hi to Branchman577, the leader of the Agrarian League.
Hello.
We've got Dunks11, the leader of the Classical Liberals.
Hello.
We've got Wassup008, the principal speaker of the Green Party.
Hey.
We've got Leechy62, the leader of the Scottish Tories.
Good evening.
And we have Guerrilla Empire, the leader of the New Christian Workers' Party.
Hello.
So, obviously, the election is the big news. And what's everyone thinking? How do you think? Okay, so Branchman, we had you on to talk about the formation of the Agrarian League, and what do you think your prospects are for this general election?
Well, being a small grouping is really going to hurt our large prospects, obviously. But we're hoping to get at least one seat and hope to put ourselves out there for the public.
Okay, and Dunks11, Classical Liberals, you're also a newish party, and how do you think that you guys are gonna do?
Yeah, well, we're quite new. We were obviously officially formed just after the last election, but throughout the term we've had a lot of good activity. We've attracted new members, and I'm hopefully optimistic that we will do quite well in this election.
All right, and Wassup008, you have been recently elected as the leader of the opposition, and it's now your time to
shine.
Yeah, exactly. Your time to show the public what you can do and what you can bring. Do you think that you will be able to take down the government in this election?
Absolutely, just as we did with the first reading of the budget.
Wonderful. And Leechy62, you're on the defending end of this government. You are a member of the Conservative Party, and do you think that the government can hold the power and convince the British people that it has done a good job this term?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think we'll be on the defence whatsoever. I think that we'll be able to portray a strong message of passing the best budget yet and excellent legislation throughout the course of this term. And yeah, so I hope we can extend our majority.
Okay, and Guerrilla Empire, you have obviously just formed your new party the other day. You've not got a very strong experience, but what do you think the prospects for your party are coming up?
The prospects for my party for this election, I'm hoping to at least have one seat in other opposition, but I'm most definitely, that is an optimistic estimation there.
Right. So, so let's talk the different parties. So I think that would everyone think that the big parties going into this election are likely to be the Green Party and the Conservative Party? The other parties haven't really been up to standard. That it's likely to be a resummation of two parties.
Well, they'll be the largest two, obviously, due to the collapse of the RSP. But I wouldn't say that they are going to be the only two parties, or indeed the dominant parties. They'll do well to get over half the seats, but I think this election is very much going to be about smaller parties as well, be it the bigger, smaller parties like UKIP and the NUP, and the newer, smaller parties like the Classical Liberals. Because remember, it's not about who's the biggest party, it's about which coalition can get the most seats. And to do that, you need the big parties and the small parties.
Yeah, and what do we think about like the National Unionist Party and UKIP haven't been doing a whole lot,
I hope they collapse.
and I think that
I-
that's,
Yeah.
a lot of people are foreseeing that. So what does that mean for the government? The government could gain quite a lot of seats in that. The
Weak
Conservatives
and
did.
wobbly.
Yeah, it opens up a lot of seats in a lot of different places.
I think on the whole, in terms of the left-right balance in the House, I can't actually foresee that much changing. The Tories and the classical Liberals will gain probably about an equal, or if not more, amount of seats than UKIP and the NUP lose. So at that point, it becomes if the government and ourselves in unofficial opposition are still large enough on the sort of right side of the House, then there's not really much left on the left.
Yeah. So that's another thing we're looking at. The RSP and the Liberal Democrats and Labour are probably going to lose seats. I mean, actually, Liberal Democrats might gain a couple, but it's also
The flip-flopping on the budget hasn't benefited them.
No,
I tend to
no.
stay where they are.
I think
I
the RSP
think-
though will lose a lot of seats.
I
Well, the
think
RSP basically
Labour.
don't exist anymore.
I think Labour at most might gain 2 or 3 seats this election.
Well, guys, let's look at the facts. The RSP have basically collapsed. I do not think they'll get even 5 seats next election.
I've heard
Labour is going to eat them up.
the Greens could eat them up. We are ideologically similar to the RSP.
Well,
In fact, some people have quipped that we are the LGBTIAQ plus wing of the RSP.
You need to remember that a lot of their seats come from Scotland as well. The RSP was Scotland. Scotland was RSP
Yes,
stronghold
But
territory.
you have to remember though that the Green are strong and stable in Scotland.
Oh, they're absolutely
Great first monster.
not.
First monster.
well,
Oh no.
Absolutely
Well,
not. Flip-flopping, can't answer questions, and overall just can't
I
whip
think
these
you'll
government
find
MPs.
MG is a very, very strong and stable first minister. He
Strong and
even
stable dictator.
has showed himself to be
He's a
very,
glorified
very, very.
state governor pretending to be the
Absolutely.
president of the Scottish Socialist
The
Republic.
Scottish,
Flying
the
around
Scottish,
world
the
on
Scottish government, sorry, is very strong and stable. They
It's
can vote the
absolutely not.
same way.
No, they can't. VMP
On all the
cannot vote the
bills.
same way as MG on several bills this term. The Lib Dems voted differently from Labour. Labour voted differently from the Greens. None of them can vote consistently. Ourselves and the classical Liberals have voted more consistently
To
with
be
each
fair,
other.
though,
than
they are
Greens
from
and
different
Labour have.
parties. They are different.
But they're in
parties.
government together. You could.
Um, I spoke to the First Minister, and he says on matters of conscience, they can vote their own
government
way.
bills. Government bills. The first government bill.
Define a matter of conscience.
That's for MG to say. I don't have
You
a
just
conscience
have to
myself.
No, you just have to defend
Quote
it.
Ted Cruz here.
I mean, you don't even have a unified line on the most fundamental question facing Scotland today, the opposition to a divisive second referendum. On our motion to say no thanks to that, we had Labour vote with us, and the Lib Dems, I think, they didn't vote, and you guys voted no. You can't even get a unity on that, let alone any of the
be
other
honest
issues.
with you. There is a bit of a communication kerfuffle with the Scottish Greens and the Green Party
Understatement of the year
Wales.
there.
There's a bit of a kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
Taking it
so
lovely,
are
nice,
you
lovely.
claiming?
That's taking it
Are
very
you
light.
claiming that the Greens are unstable at this moment in time in
No,
Scotland?
they're very stable.
Well, you just said that there's been a kerfuffle in
Look,
communications. Therefore, what I assume that means, and what the British people believe, is that the Greens are unstable at this moment in
you
time.
can twist my words, but however, the Greens are stable. But you have to remember the Green Party in Scotland is a separate entity of its own.
But you just have to defending them on the general election issue. When I raised it, the RSP were strong in Scotland. The RSP were strong in Scotland last election. You came on the defensive of MG. It's quite clear that, as like the Holyrood election, people have faith in the Conservatives, not the Greens.
That could be true, but I wouldn't know because I'm not Scottish. But the Green Party of England and Wales are strong and stable.
Okay, so you're saying that the Scottish Green Party isn't part of the Green Party.
It's its own separate entity.
Okay, so what you're
It's
saying
affiliated to the
is,
Green Party, but it is not the Green Party.
so you
Well, I
shouldn't
mean-
take credit for their victories. Is that what you're saying?
I take credit for no victories in
Didn't
Scotland
you
because I'm
represent-
personally not interested in
There's
Holyrood.
not been any victories.
Didn't you represent the Scottish Green Party in the Holyrood Leaders debate?
Possibly.
You mentioned in your response to the Prime Minister
That was a
calling.
yes or no question.
Yeah, the Greens can't even
It
give
was a possibility.
the Greens can't even give a straight.
No, no, no. But
I moderated that debate, and I distinctly remember you being
Suffering from
there.
amnesia.
in
So
I
wait,
cannot
so wait.
remember.
How many green parties is there? 1 or 2?
There's one in Canada. There's one in
Oh, whoa.
America.
Oh, I mean
In the
in the
United-
UK.
There is
In
a
the
voting
UK.
Canada.
3.
Liberal Party.
There's one in Scotland. There's one in Northern Ireland.
So they're separate
Okay,
entities.
great. I have a question to ask you.
Yeah.
Now, do you know how to count to 3?
Well, the question I would like to put to you is: how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck
Yes
could
or
chuck
no?
wood?
Yes or no?
That's not a reasonable question for this.
Sorry.
Yes or no? Give me an answer. Yes or no? Can you count to 3?
No.
To 3,
To 3,
One.
yes.
2, 3. Yes, I can.
Great.
That's the number
So-
of seats the Greens will get this election.
No, incorrect. The Greens will get lots of seats because we are strong
No.
and stable. I'm
No,
very active in
somehow
Scotland.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which part of the Greens is strong and stable? Which?
Me.
somehow with one member, I'll get 3 seats in for the Christian Workers' Party.
That's
Yeah, but I am strong and stable, and that's
So-
all that matters.
So
I'm
you
not Andrew.
aren't
Actually-
the strong and
affiliated
stable leader
with
of a weak
Scotland.
and wobbly coalition of chaos of a party. That's what you're telling us.
Well, no, the coalition's made up of 2 parties, and
But you've got communications.
Well, there's 2 Green parties.
I thought there was 3.
Yeah,
Wait,
you
no,
said
there's
there was
3
3 a
Green
second ago.
There's 2 Green parties.
No,
There's the
no,
one
no,
that
no.
gets voted
So you-
for, and the disaster that people get instead.
Okay.
Let me
so,
start again.
So the Greens can count. That's what we learned today. That's all I.
That's
I can
that-
count.
that
There's
definitely
4
makes
parties
them
in the opposition.
a strong party. They can count to 3.
There's
Okay.
4.
They
So-
can't count the opposition MPs.
There's 4 now, is there?
So
Yes.
let's have a look at last term. What do you think that last term has happened that will be beneficial to any parties or will lead to the destruction of others?
Well, the RSP's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Socialists can't survive another term.
Sorry,
Well,
what's the question?
The question was, how do we think that various things that happened last term will affect the election results and which parties they will
Well-
benefit?
Well, I think the collapse of the RSP will benefit not the RSP. I think that Labour will do quite well in this election with all their activity. I think the Liberal Democrats will do very well because they don't buy the house they want to vote on. I think the classical Liberals will do very well because Dunks actually does perform quite well in the House. I don't believe anything he actually says, but he does say quite a lot of things. So there's-
Quantity over quality, fellas.
no. Good quality things. Just I think it's drivel because I don't
There are
believe it.
words, lots of them.
Yes, and they all make sense, but not in my head. So
Okay.
that's fine.
Does anything make sense
and,
in your
and
head?
the Green Party is basically about 4 of us that actually take part in debates, but we are 4 strong people.
So the
So,
people,
so
so the
strong
Green
party.
MPs in England are the same size as the Green MSPs in Scotland.
Yeah, but we all vote the same way.
So once again, are you 1 party, 3 parties? Can you like? So 3. You said 2 earlier. You said 2
3.
earlier. Then you said
3.
3.
3.
Okay, I think
So,
we've
can you stop
cleared that
flip-flop?
up. I think.
But can we just
Yeah.
not
Now,
be
are
done
we-
with the Green Party?
Are we counting the,
You're hurting my
the
feelings.
Canadian one, the US one?
No,
and the-
no.
Look,
There
you're
isn't even a
hurting.
Canadian one, if I remember.
You're hurting
correctly.
my feelings.
They died. Yeah, the Canadian one died.
Yeah, the Canadian one would have died.
I'm looking it up, and I can confirm that there is no Canadian Green Party.
Oh.
Oh, is there not?
Nope.
No, they died. So I remember because
Well, that's
Subtract
impressive.
that from the number of Green Parties that we know.
The GLP in US Gov has just done a complete 180 from what the Green Party is doing here.
And we'll be talking about that later. So
so let's remember
Yeah.
that the GOP is not the Green Party. Let's just
Yeah.
focus on that.
It's the Get Out Party, isn't
so
it?
I want to
No,
hear.
the
Whoa.
GLP.
I want to hear everyone's predictions. So, who will be the Prime Minister? Branchman.
Oh God, don't me. I'm going to be the Prime Minister. No, I don't know. I really don't know.
Give us a name. Any name. Literally anyone.
Wazop is going to be the new Prime Minister.
Okay.
Oh.
No.
Dux, who do you think will be the
Yes,
next Prime
correct.
Minister?
Ideally me, in practice Matt.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
What's up, 008? Will you be the next Prime Minister?
If I don't get vonked, probably.
Lychee.
I think that Dr. Caesar MD, definitely.
Yeah, and
Does he have an MD though? This is the question.
Krill Empire. Krill Empire, who do you think will be the next Prime Minister?
In a realistic sense, I do think Dr. Caesar MD would gain another term as Prime Minister.
Okay.
As much as we don't
Hero.
share ideology, it's just there.
All right. Grant, so thank you very much, everyone, for coming onto the podcast. It was lovely to talk to you about the
Yay.
general election we have coming up. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just kick them out on the streets. Bye bye everyone.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah,
Bye.
We don't like you. Bye.
Oh,
Yeah.
muted them, unmuted them. Oh,
Lychee.
Lychee's not muted. Okay.
Okay, there.
Okay,
So
so
that was great. That went great, and what we've learned from that is, what's it called? Jesus Christ. Well, oh yeah, the Greens can count. The classical Liberals are strong and stable, and the Agrarian League will win the election. Thank
that
you very
sounds
much.
about right. So now
Yes.
let's exit the Anglosphere, which is something we don't do too often. And I'd like to welcome to
God.
the studio the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Quintianus.
Thanks for having me.
So, we had the jellyfish, the previous prime minister, on a couple of weeks ago, and now we have you here. So, what has changed?
Well, the government collapsed, and that's pretty obvious, I guess.
Yeah.
And after that, basically, we went on the table with a few parties, and we formed a new government. And now, we have a new government.
Okay. So,
Can you inform us what parties make up the new government?
Sure. We have D66, a progressive social liberal party.
that's your party, right?
Yeah, that's my party. Then we have the VVD, the Liberal Party, the FVD, right-wing populist party, and the
Whoa,
SFN, a socialist party.
whoa, that's a wild
This
mix.
sounds like
So
a right
it's a-
coalition of chaos. So
Yeah,
how's this working out?
Well, it's a very broad, broad coalition of left and right, but mostly aims to keep a more, moderate, to keep a moderate policy, with here and there a few things, but
So what happened that led to you forming a coalition with, as you said, a right-wing populist party?
Well, they call themselves a right-wing populist party, and they call themselves anti-establishment. But truth be told, honestly, everybody knows in reality they're more or less the most establishment party in our entire sim. So
Whoa, you're making some very big accusations. Let's hope.
yeah, they might not really like it, but
Yeah, let's hope your coalition partners don't actually watch this. But so, what are some of your plans for this term?
some of our plans.
Yeah.
Well, for example, we would like to work on the housing crisis.
Sorry,
no.
can
Work
you
on the
repeat?
housing.
Ah,
Yes, work on the housing crisis. Build more homes. We would like to expand the authority of intelligence agencies to prevent terrorist attacks and threats. And elsewhere, we would like to higher the salaries of teachers and police officers, close all coal power plants by 2025, and some other things.
Okay.
I'm
Those
sorry,
are
but if you don't mind me asking, where are you gonna get the money to do that? Like, you're planning to build, expand, but I don't see. Are you gonna raise taxes, for example? What are you gonna do?
One of the main things that we would like to do to get money is make cuts to foreign aid. Of course, that's not ideal. You can understand that. However, it is right now essential to do that. Of course, when time comes, things will return to normal, but right now we will invest, and after that we will, you reap what you sow. Normally that's negative, but in this case, it would be a investment, you can call it.
So,
Well-
where do you think that the last government has failed that you can fix?
Well, I see a few issues with a few reasons that the last government failed. One of the main things I see is their original plan to hold a Nexit referendum, a Dutch Brexit.
Right.
That led to a lot of frictions between the parties. Luckily, we're not going to do that right now.
All right. That sounds good.
And let's also be straight with everybody. The previous government fell because of a motion of no confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and it got accepted with one vote. The FVD turned against the coalition and voted in favor of the motion. So the coalition collapsed in on itself.
Yeah, that's what the jellyfish told us when he was on. And so you think that your government will be a much improved, stable government on the last one?
I expect so, yes. One of the reasons will be we will not be very long a government because our next elections will be in September.
Okay.
So we all agreed we need a government, and we're going to do the things that we're going to do a few things. We can't do everything. And after the election, if we get a majority, we're going to look again. Are we going to continue with this government, or are we going a different direction with different parties? But right now we have all agreed we agree on a few things. Let's fix those things. And after the elections, we look further what we're going to do then.
Okay. And do you think that that D66 has a good chance of doing well in the next election? Do you think you'll gain or lose?
I expect that we will win, yes. Of course, of course, if we can right now show that we can fix a few of the issues, and if we can to be honest, if one of the reasons why I believe that we're going to win is because Greens supported a Nexit referendum, and I believe that is going to hurt them really bad in the next election.
Right. Of course, because they did form from Greenlinks, who are presumably a very pro-European party.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that we can, as D66, can gain a lot of seats from that.
All right. So, thank you very much for coming on, Quintinus. It was wonderful to talk to you, and we'll have have some more Dutch guests back during the election to tell us all about it. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we are now moving on to our final section, and I'd like to welcome to the studio the Governor of the Atlantic Commonwealth. Il Duce was right. Those were some words that we would never have predicted hearing a long time ago. Our brand new Silver Legion Governor, self-proclaimed fascist. How are you today?
I've been pretty good. That's
well, understandably, considering you are now the Atlantic Governor, and this must have been a big shock, I assume, that you were actually elected.
I thought that I was going to get in second or third place. I had no idea that. I mean, I almost even won like through the first round. You know, I or V wasn't going to matter.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the Democrats could have turned it, but about 10 or so of them voted for you, which allowed you to win. So that definitely helped quite a lot. So yeah, we've obviously had the state elections just happening. All of the state legislatures have been replaced.
Oh
So-
god, it's been horrible. All
We-
through this.
Yeah, so let's talk about the results a bit. So I'm just gonna get the results up now for myself. So
Yeah, it's great, because can you send me a link? Because I don't actually know them.
Yep. So big news,
Yes.
obviously, being the Silver Legion in Northeast. So how do you feel about your performance? Ildacher was right.
Oh, I feel that it was pretty good, and I'm glad, even with the assembly performance too, how I would say that we're the second biggest party in the Northeast, just looking off of that, you know, and
Tied
then
with the Democrats.
I was surprised at the Democrat turnout, how it was very, very low. You know, like I thought that they were definitely going to be more of a presence, and I thought that it was going to be such a closer vote. So I mean, I'm super surprised. You know.
Yeah.
How do you feel on the fact that the distributors, you know what I mean, that they're apparently back in force in the Midwest?
Oh, I mean, I'm obviously very happy that won his election. I mean, I was surprised that he got, what was it, like 54 votes?
I'm checking.
Uh,
Intrusive man, 54 votes, exactly it. Yeah,
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
count.
Surprised that he got 54 votes, and then someone who got in second place got like, 9 votes? Or 11 votes or something? I don't,
It was,
something
it
else.
was- he
Sorry.
won by a large margin. Yes?
34 votes. What are
I
you?
mean,
54
I'm
votes.
very glad.
34.
That the distributors are back in for, like, you know, back in the swing of things. I'd like to say. I could see them as, you know, good friends to me and my party. I mean, I already do have a good relationship, I'd say, with
Okay.
Distributors League and
Now,
like
obviously,
notable figures.
Their key
Yes.
difference being that they support democracy and you don't. So
Yeah.
how come you've managed to get these parties in like Sunrise and stuff to work with you? What's caused this? Considering you guys literally don't believe in democracy and want an
Well, I mean-
authoritarian government.
Our social views, and are just us being traditionalists and social conservatives. I feel that kind of makes us, you know, optimal allies to some of the more hard right wing of the GOP and the distributists.
Right.
So like I feel that makes us more optimal to work with.
Okay.
And us, obviously, you know, with how strong we did in the Northeast, like I feel that we could put the Northeast presidential election.
Yeah. And about like how strongly you did in Northeast, have you got a what are your plans for democracy in Atlantic? Do you is it going to be something that lasts? Are you going to try and abolish democracy?
I mean, I obviously want to try to follow the Constitution, and I don't really want to give anyone excuses to impeach me. So I'm just going to go with really doing an executive order on pretty much all meme executive orders, like with repealing them, and
William, can I ask you?
probably
Can you like take away all of that socialist bullcrap that have been passed over the past couple of years? Can you just repeal it all? Like, I ask that as a personal favor.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I mean,
get rid of it.
I can't really promise any economic changes like right off the bat. I am obviously going to that, like, if I get a second term and if we have a stronger showing next assembly election, because I can't really maneuver with 2 Silver Legion people in the assembly and then 1 GOPer. It's, you know, that's obviously going to have to increase. Like our numbers are going to have to increase to like 3 or 4, and then the GOPs will have to stay 1 or 2 in order for us to really have the leverage that's needed for me to repeal anything economically.
But you should be able to repeal means of production, right? Because the Democrats are obviously against that.
I don't really want to alienate any of the parties, well, other than the Democrats, because I hate the Democrats.
What?
But,
So
I
you're
don't
gonna
really
keep
wanna-
means of production in place then?
Probably going to keep it in place for my first term.
Okay. So you support it then?
Support it somewhat. I want to. I don't know. I want to. I feel that I want to replace it with something a little bit more moderate.
Right, like
Huh?
an actual economy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, though I want to keep it in place. I'd say.
let's have a look at our other states then, other than Northeast. So we saw distributists obviously gain quite a lot in Midwest, and that they now have the governorship, but Green Left and Democrats still hold a majority on the House. So that's something. We've seen the socialists didn't quite make the gains that they'd hoped to in Eastern and Western,
Well,
I'd say.
Let's
Well,
look
I
at
mean-
the thing. The thing is, I expected the socialists to gain a lot more. I think they've actually lost the seat, if I'm not wrong.
The socialists, well, they're on
Yes.
11 seats, I believe, in the state
Well-
legislature.
That is pretty small for their level. Like, a lot of small parties have gained a lot for some reason in this election.
Yeah, so we saw
It's just
Silver
turnout,
Legion
I
gain
guess.
2 in Northeast. We saw Distributists gain a few in Midwest. We saw Liberals gain 2 in West, and them. I think
Yeah.
how many did they gain? 1 seat in Central.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, and obviously the Christian Union managed to snag a seat in Eastern, although it is officially an independent seat. So that's another new party. And there's been a lot of there's been a lot of defections now to the Christian Union following this, because it seems like the Democrats are tearing themselves out from the inside. We've seen the Lieutenant
All
Governor
the
of
major
Eastern.
parties. All the major parties are doing it. Like,
Yeah.
it is nothing new.
Christian Union seems like quite a unifying force right now, and they've got the Lieutenant Governor of Eastern, Ninja Dragon, has joined. He was actually supposed to be on today. Let's actually see if he's around.
Oh god, is he? Yes, he is. Let's see, where is he?
Is he gonna join? Yeah.
Well, he's in. He's
He's online. Don't know if he's gonna join.
kind
Anyway,
of, maybe. Anyway, so, do you have anything else to talk about in the US, or?
yeah, we do. I think.
No, great.
So,
See?
yeah, socialists won governorship in Western.
Yeah, I would just like to say that I'm pretty, like myself, I'm pretty surprised at that, because I thought that it was either, I thought it was either going to be the Democrats winning it, well, keeping it, or the GOP winning it, you know, or even Cameron maybe surprising everybody and using his election magic that he has.
His magic.
His magic, which resulted in a massive punishment to the Republican Party, and everyone's salty at him. So,
I mean, I like Cam. I think he's a solid guy.
well,
I just feel
I
that
don't.
he gets a little bit too cocky
oh yeah,
in certain.
he is. Believe me, he's horrible. Yes, from what I've heard and from my sources, which are everywhere, cause yes. But I'm afraid for the Western states' economy. I really am. I really am.
Socialists have only 2 seats. They're not going to be able to do
Yes,
anything
but the
significant.
governor has power. Let's not forget it. He
Yes.
might see some horrible policies in Western states.
But the
and I
economically
fear-
liberal parties have 7 seats, which is going to be
Yes,
difficult
but-
to...
The governor can force them to follow his lead. And I find this to be highly dangerous. To have such power in such a reckless political climate, it is an utter disgrace that such a thing has happened.
Hmm. So, how did Green Left do?
These died, basically.
Yeah, they have. They've gone pretty inactive recently. They've only got seats in Midwest and Dixie now. So,
Then barely. But yeah, they've died. So like,
And
that's all there is to it, basically.
yeah, I think
They
the
died.
Democrats are still the largest party in the state legislatures.
Barely,
Which is-
very
Yeah, but they
barely.
beat the Socialists out by 1 seat, so
That's what I said. Barely.
everyone thought
Very-
it was going to be a tie because of the possible cheating with the Christian Union seat, but it was all fine, and the Socialists are below the Democrats now. So, yeah, this is I guess that's probably a good result for the Democrats, like after their like crushing defeat in the federal elections. So they'll be looking to rebuild from that, but with all the high profile defections we're seeing from the Democrats to the Christian Union, they could be replaced. Who knows? Is time running out for the Democratic Party?
I mean, I personally would prefer if the Christian Union kept their ideological and Christian purity, but I mean, whatever. You know, they can go in whatever direction they want. To be honest, I don't.
Right. So, I think that we've probably talked our way through everything with the state election. So, thank you very much. Il Duce was right for coming on to our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and goodbye. Thank you very much. So, I think that's the show then. So, yeah, that was good. So, how did you enjoy the podcast tonight, Nick?
Sorry, my internet just died. I'm back.
That's all right.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Ireland, Northern Ireland, or whatever. Yes.
Yeah. No.
Great.
we're not.
I hate
Okay.
you.
Apparently, there's an Irish party we're supposed to talk about.
Yes.
I'm getting mass pings, and we have.
Okay. Yes, we're talking about it
What's
because
this? A new nationalist party unveiled.
a new fascist nationalist party. This is gonna be good. That's gonna be great.
And in studio, we have to join us the vice chairman. Il Duce was right. Not to
God.
be confused with the governor of Atlantic. Il Duce was right. Hello and welcome to the studio.
Having me.
So, so
Hello, Mr. Il Duce's rights.
let's have a look at this. A new nationalist party was today unveiled in Belfast. The National Party, which supports a united Ireland with conservative values, was unveiled by Unionist Catholic, its chairman, and Il Duce was right, its vice chairman. The group aims to cooperate with fellow conservatives and fellow nationalists in achieving their aims. So this is obviously splitting from Sinn Féin, right? Because you and Unionist Catholic were both Sinn Féiners. So this is interesting enough.
Can I ask why are you splitting from Sinn Féin? Wouldn't it be more like actually beneficial for you to stay as one party?
Well, I mean, we don't really support the values that Sinn Féin promotes because we just
United Ireland.
Well, their leader is basically a communist.
Yeah.
LCMW Spud. So
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
this
But
is-
you know,
is this going to cooperate at all with
we don't
the
line our
Conservative Party in the South, I'd imagine, because they seem like they've got similar values. Oh,
let's see. William? I mean, Lucia, whatever. Okay. We're gonna bring on another guest, and it's
Are
the yes, it's What's Up 8, who is
008, the Taoiseach.
the Taoiseach.
No,
Wait,
sorry, not the Taoiseach. The
Irish
Minister
Labour
for
leader.
Finance and
Okay,
Uh,
great. Hello. What's up?
Hello.
awfully confusing show we have, and also Branchman 577, the Taoiseach,
Who's he?
leader of Labour,
Hello.
and Leachy 62, the Progressive Democrat.
So,
MP.
guys, one at a time, please. What is your opinion on this issue? Stop laughing, Jack. This is a serious matter. We shall take it seriously.
I'm sorry, I just wasn't expecting any of this.
Listen, the will of the Irish people is for you to let these people speak. Therefore, we shall let them speak. Now, Branchman, Can you please begin?
What am I talking about?
Oh my god!
Okay, and also joining us in studio is the MP for Belfast South, Indigo Rolo.
I'm speaker of the house. Okay, no, he isn't. Will you actually sort it out? Okay,
Oh, he's gone.
Greg.
He ran away!
Silence.
Apologies.
Silence. Jack, shut up. You can't organize for shit.
Yes,
Okay,
I can. This has sprung on me all of a sudden.
What's up 088 whatever? I don't know.
What's
Just
up, 008?
Speak.
Okay, hello. I am the Finance Minister for Ireland, and I believe that Ireland is a country.
Is that all you're gonna say?
No. I believe
Yes.
that Ireland should. Can we go to Branch first? 'Cause-
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Hello there,
Branchman.
Branch. The Taoiseach,
Can
how
you-
are you?
Branchman, can you tell us what is your opinion on the new Irish Nationalist Party that's been formed by Mr. El Duce is right, a clerical fascist, and Mr. Unionist Catholic, who, as his name suggests,
Well, personally, as the leader of the Labour Party, they wouldn't be a party I support. But obviously, if there is,
So you don't support United Ireland? Is that what you're saying?
no, I don't agree purely with that. If the Northern Irish people want that, there's nothing we can do to stop them from achieving that. But if there's a place in Northern Ireland for such a party, then obviously then I welcome them to join and express their views.
Great. So now, what's up 088 whatever, I don't care.
This contempt for the left wing from the right wing media
Yes, there
is
is.
something that needs to end. Anyway, I am Deputy Labour Leader of the Irish Labour Party, of course, and essentially I do not agree with this party because they are a fascist party. El Duce was right, and Unionist Catholic are both people from the right wing corridors of politics. And I believe this will put the Good Friday Agreement into some kind disarray, because it's another movement that will actually work against it. And I believe that we should have peaceful discussions. And I think this will fuel the fire of nationalism. And I just don't believe that this is healthy for Ireland. Okay.
Okay. See, I'm not sure if we want to continue this shambles of a podcast at this point. I've run out of cues, so I've just put a racist Irish stereotype on the screen.
Promoting stereotypes.
Yeah, so Leachy, did you want to say something?
No, I'd just like to add that after the new party, we've yet to find out about them fully. Obviously, we've got some details about them and their post, but I mean, we've got to find out how they interact with legislation and how they vote. I mean, hopefully there'll be some things that the Progressive Democrats agree with them on, but it appears that just from their post that there's quite a lot of things that we'll disagree on, liberal economic and social values.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So, thank you all for rushing back.
Wait.
We're finished. We're finished.
No, we aren't.
We are
finished.
finished.
So, hello. So, guys.
No,
There's
Roland,
been a lot of stuff happening in Northern Ireland. For example, what is your opinion on the actions of the Northern Ireland Secretary in the past couple?
Okay, I'm muting him. We're ending this now.
What's my opinion on I didn't fully hear what I was being asked.
Goodbye, everyone.
Hate you. Oh, I hate you. I hate you so
Okay,
much.
so thank everyone for coming on to the podcast.
No, I want to ask them some serious questions.
No, we're not. because
Okay,
there
fine.
is no serious questions anymore.
You're a
Oh,
fascist,
God.
Jack. You are a fascist.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
Okay, thank you all for talking to us, and I hope I hope you can join back at a later date. Now you can roll the credits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already rolling the music, so
Great.
I
Bye.
am sorry for the meme fest.
we are glad to bring you our weekly or bi-weekly meme fest. We're on a bi-weekly schedule, so join us in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everyone.